Jinwoo Park had never been to space before. He pressed his face against the small window of the transport ship and watched the stars slowly grow bigger. His stomach felt funny from the strange gravity, but he tried to look professional. The other passengers were all aliens. Some had blue skin, some had too many arms, and one looked like a walking tree. They all ignored him completely. The Galactic Trade Consortium had sent him a message 3 months ago. They needed a human consultant to help with their business problems. The pay was incredible, more money than Jinwoo had ever seen. His wife Soyoung had been worried about him traveling so far from Earth, but they needed the money for their daughter's school. Jinwoo was good at his job. For 15 years he had helped companies run better. He made things faster and cheaper. He was not exciting or special, just careful and smart about business. That was exactly what the aliens said they wanted. The transport ship docked at Harmony Point Station with a loud clang. Jinwoo grabbed his small suitcase and laptop bag. He had packed light, just some clothes, his computer, and a thermos that Soyoung had filled with good Korean coffee. He would need the coffee. Business meetings were always better with coffee. Harmony Point was enormous. The main hallway stretched so far that Jinwoo could not see the end. Hundreds of different aliens walked, floated, or crawled past him. Some wore fancy clothes that sparkled. Others had thick armor. A few had no clothes at all, which made Jinwoo look away quickly. The ceiling was made of clear glass, and Jinwoo could see 3 different colored suns shining through it. Ships came and went constantly, some bigger than entire city blocks back on Earth. Everything smelled strange, like metal and flowers and something he could not identify. A tall alien with purple skin and 4 arms approached him. She wore a business suit that looked almost normal except for the extra sleeves. "You are the human consultant?" "I am Administrator Hyojin of the Trade Consortium." Jinwoo bowed slightly, the way his mother had taught him to greet important people. "Yes, I am Park Jinwoo. Thank you for this opportunity." Hyojin's face did not change expression. Jinwoo wondered if she could make expressions at all. "Follow me. Your workspace is prepared. The project details are waiting for your review." They walked through corridors filled with busy aliens. Jinwoo saw creatures that looked like giant insects typing on computers. A group of rock-like beings argued loudly in a language that sounded like grinding stone. 2 aliens that seemed to be made of liquid moved past them, leaving wet trails on the floor. "Your species is new to galactic business," Hyojin said as they walked. "We hope you can provide a fresh perspective on our trade efficiency problems." "I have experience with complex supply chains," Jinwoo replied. "I helped reorganize shipping for Samsung's electronics division. I also worked with 3 different car companies." Hyojin stopped walking and looked at him with her large, dark eyes. "You reorganized entire planetary trade networks?" "No, just companies. Big companies, but still just companies." "I see." Hyojin continued walking, but she seemed confused. They reached a small office with a desk, chair, and computer terminal. The screen was huge and curved, displaying charts and numbers in colors that hurt Jinwoo's eyes. "This shows our current trade efficiency ratings," Hyojin explained. "As you can see, performance has declined 3.7% over the past decade." Jinwoo set down his coffee and opened his laptop. The charts looked familiar, just like the ones he worked with every day except with alien symbols instead of Korean and English text. This should not be difficult to fix. Most business problems are actually quite simple. "Simple?" Hyojin's voice got higher. "These trade routes connect 47 star systems across 3 galactic regions. Trillions of beings depend on these networks for survival." "Right, but the basic principles are the same," Jinwoo said, pouring coffee into his thermos cap. "You move products from point A to point B as quickly and cheaply as possible. Everything else is just extra steps." Hyojin stared at him for a long moment. "The human will begin work immediately. Report your findings in 1 week." She left without saying goodbye. Jinwoo spent the rest of the day studying the trade network data. It was incredibly complicated but also incredibly wasteful. Products took months to travel between nearby star systems because they had to stop at dozens of checkpoints. Every transaction required approval from multiple committees. Simple shipping manifests needed signatures from representatives of 3 different governments. He made notes on his laptop, drawing flowcharts the way he always did. Remove this step here, combine these 2 departments there, eliminate this unnecessary approval process. By evening, he had identified 17 major problems and solutions for each one. His computer chimed with a message from Soyoung back on Earth. "How is space? Is the food good?" Minhee got an A on her math test. Jinwoo smiled and typed back about the strange aliens and the huge space station. He did not mention that he was possibly the only human within 1,000 light-years of Earth. That night, he lay in his small room listening to the sounds of the station. Machines hummed constantly. Sometimes he heard announcements in alien languages echoing through the corridors. Through his small window, he could see ships arriving and leaving, their lights blinking like slow fireflies. Tomorrow he would start implementing his recommendations. It should be simple work, just basic efficiency improvements. He had done the same thing hundreds of times before. How different could alien business really be? Jinwoo fell asleep thinking about his family and the good life this job would give them. He had no idea that his simple business solutions were about to accidentally start the biggest war in galactic history. Jinwoo woke up early and made coffee in his small room. The thermos Soyoung had given him was the best thing he had brought from Earth. He opened his laptop and reviewed his efficiency plan one more time. Today he would fix the trade network problems. The first change was easy. Ships traveling between the Zephyrian Empire and Crystalline Hegemony had to stop at 7 different stations for inspections and paperwork. Jinwoo eliminated 5 of the stops. Why waste time checking the same cargo 7 times? One thorough inspection should be enough. He sent the new shipping routes to the traffic control system. Within 2 hours, crystalline ships were flying directly through what had been Zephyrian inspection zones for 800 years. Admiral Sung-hoon of the Zephyrian fleet received an urgent message on his command ship. Sir, crystalline vessels are ignoring Protocol Station 7. They are proceeding directly to Sector 12 without clearance. What? Sung-hoon's scales turned a darker blue, which meant he was angry. This is violation of the Harmony Accords. Send warning message immediately. But there was a problem. Jinwoo had also streamlined the communication system. Instead of messages going through the Diplomatic Translation Bureau, the Neutral Mediation Service, and the Cultural Sensitivity Board, they now went directly between the 2 fleets. The crystalline captain received Sung-hoon's message in raw Zephyrian military language. Crystalline dogs, retreat or face destruction. The translation computers had not softened the words or explained cultural context. They just translated exactly what was said. Captain Moon-young of the crystalline ship was confused and insulted. In her culture, being called a dog meant your ancestors were garbage. She responded immediately, Zephyrian weaklings, we go where we choose. Your threats mean nothing. Sung-hoon read the response and his anger grew. For 3 generations his family had fought crystalline raiders. Now they were insulting him directly? He ordered his weapons powered up. Meanwhile, Jinwoo was working on his second improvement. The Andromedal Republic controlled most of the space stations where ships stopped for fuel and supplies. But their pricing system was incredibly complicated. Different species paid different rates based on hundreds of factors. Ship size, cargo type, diplomatic status, historical agreements, and cultural preferences. Jinwoo created a simple flat rate system. Everyone paid the same price for the same services. It was fair and efficient. He was proud of how clean the new pricing structure looked. What Jinwoo did not know was that the complicated pricing system was actually a complex bribery network. The Andromedal Republic stayed neutral in galactic conflicts by giving secret discounts to both sides. Zephyrian military ships got cheap fuel by pretending to carry medical supplies. Crystalline trade vessels avoided tariffs by claiming cultural exemptions. The new flat-rate system charged everyone full price immediately. Both the Zephyrian Empire and Crystalline Hegemony suddenly faced massive increases in their shipping costs. Their military operations became too expensive to maintain. President Do-hyun of the Andromedal Republic received angry messages from both empires. They demanded their old discount rates back. When he explained that the new system was automatic and could not make exceptions, both empires declared economic sanctions against the Republic. Overnight, the Andromedal economy crashed. Thousands of space stations stopped receiving supplies. Millions of beings lost their jobs. The Republic's currency became worthless. Jinwoo spent the afternoon working on his third improvement. He noticed that trade disputes took an average of 6 months to resolve because they had to go through multiple courts and committees. He created a new system where disputes would be handled by a single arbitration panel that made quick decisions. The first case under the new system was a cargo dispute between a Zephyrian mining company and a crystalline electronics manufacturer. Under the old system, this disagreement would have been discussed quietly by diplomats over several months. Both sides would eventually compromise and everyone would save face. Under Jinwoo's new system, arbitrator Youngmi made a decision in 2 hours. The crystalline company won completely. The Zephyrian company lost everything and had to pay additional penalties. When news of the decision reached the Zephyrian Empire, It was seen as proof that humans and crystallines were working together against them. Emperor Kyungo declared that Earth must be planning to join the crystalline hegemony. By evening, Jinwoo was feeling very satisfied with his work. Shipping times were down 31%. Communication delays had been eliminated. Dispute resolution was 95% faster. He sent a progress report to his supervisor and called Soyoung on Earth. "How is your space job?" Soyoung asked. She was cooking dinner, and Jinwoo could hear their daughter Chaeyoung practicing piano in the background. "Very good. I fixed many problems today. The aliens should be much happier now." "That is wonderful. Chaeyoung wants to say hello." His daughter's voice came through the communicator. "Papa, did you see any monsters in space?" Jinwoo laughed. "No monsters, just alien people doing business. They are very polite." What Jinwoo did not know was that at that exact moment, the Zephyrian Empire was mobilizing its war fleet. The crystalline hegemony was calling up reserves. The Andromedal Republic was declaring a state of emergency as riots broke out on 12 different worlds. 3 separate galactic governments were holding emergency meetings about the same topic: how to capture or kill the human consultant who had destroyed centuries of careful diplomatic balance in a single day. As Jinwoo fell asleep that night, he felt proud of his work. Tomorrow he would tackle the inventory management systems. He had some really good ideas about just-in-time delivery that would save everyone lots of money. Outside his window, the first Zephyrian attack ships were jumping to hyperspace, heading toward crystalline territory. The war that would consume 3 galaxies had begun, and its cause was sleeping peacefully with a laptop full of PowerPoint presentations. Jinwoo woke up to loud alarms and flashing red lights. He sat up in his bed, confused and worried. The space station shook slightly, like an earthquake, but different. Through his small window he could see explosions in the distance, bright flashes against the black space. His door chimed. "Mr. Park, please report to the administrative office immediately," came a voice through the speaker. Jinwoo got dressed quickly and walked through the corridors. Other aliens were running around, looking scared. He heard shouting in languages he did not understand. The blue-skinned administrator Hyojin was waiting for him, but she did not look calm anymore. "The Zephyrian fleet attacked crystalline mining ships 3 hours ago," she said quickly. 17 ships destroyed. The crystalline hegemony has declared war. They blame the direct communication protocols you implemented." "I do not understand," Jinwoo said. "Better communication should help people get along. You removed 800 years of diplomatic buffers." Hyojin's voice was getting louder. Those delays and extra steps prevented exactly this kind of misunderstanding. Before Jinwoo could ask more questions, another alien rushed into the room. This one had gray skin and spoke in a panicked voice. "Administrator, the Andromedal Republic is collapsing. Their economy crashed when the old pricing agreements ended. Food riots on 12 worlds. Their president is blaming the human consultant." Hyojin looked at Jinwoo with what he thought might be fear. "Pack your things. No. You need to leave this station immediately." "But I still have 5 months left on my contract," Jinwoo said. "I have not finished the inventory optimization project." "You have started a galactic war," Hyojin shouted. 3 civilizations want you dead." Jinwoo spent the next hour in his room, packing his few belongings. He tried to call Soyoung on Earth, but the communication system was blocked. A message appeared on his laptop: "Emergency protocols active. All non-essential communications suspended." He was putting his coffee thermos in his bag when someone knocked on his door very quietly. Jinwoo opened it carefully. A young alien stood outside. He looked almost human except for his green-tinted skin and very large eyes. "You are the efficiency human," the alien whispered. "I am Taehyun. I work in cargo loading. Come with me quickly if you want to live." "Why should I trust you?" Jinwoo asked. Taehyun smiled, showing sharp teeth. "Because I think what you did is wonderful. The old system was terrible for workers like me. Also, 3 different kill teams are heading to your room right now." Jinwoo heard heavy footsteps in the corridor behind Taehyun. "Okay, let us go." Taehyun led him through maintenance tunnels that were dark and smelled like oil. They crawled through spaces that were barely big enough for a person. "The Zephyrians sent assassins," Taehyun explained as they moved. "The crystallines sent bounty hunters. The Andromedalans sent their special forces. Everyone wants to capture you." "This is crazy," Jinwoo said. "I just tried to make their business more efficient." "Exactly." Taehyun laughed quietly. "You destroyed 1,000 years of corruption and stupidity in 3 days. Do you know how much money the old system wasted? How many workers suffered because of unnecessary delays and complicated rules? They emerged in a large cargo bay filled with containers and ships. Taehyun led Jinwoo behind a stack of metal boxes. You can hide here while I figure out how to get you off the station. Jinwoo sat on a container and opened his laptop. His email was full of messages. Some were from his company on Earth, asking why clients were complaining. Others were from Galactic Trade Consortium executives, demanding explanations. But many were from beings he had never met. Human consultant, your efficiency methods helped our factory increase production by 40%, read one message from something called the Kepler Workers Union. Please send more information. Another message said, the shipping improvements you designed saved our company 2 million credits this month. Our workers got bonuses for the first time in 20 years. A third message was more concerning. The Zephyrian Empire offers 50 million credits for information leading to the capture of human consultant Park Jinwoo. Wanted for economic terrorism and violation of galactic peace. Jinwoo's hands shook as he read more bounty notices. The Crystalline Hegemony was offering 75 million credits. The Andromedal Republic wanted him for treason and had authorized any necessary force to bring him in. Taehyun returned with a bowl of something that looked like soup but smelled like flowers. Food, he said. You need energy. I found a way to get you to the outer rim, but it will not be comfortable. Why are you helping me? Jinwoo asked. Taehyun sat down next to him. I have worked in cargo loading for 12 years. Before your changes, I had to get approval from 6 different supervisors just to move a container 10 meters. I filled out 47 forms every day. Most of my time was spent waiting for permission to do my actual job. That does sound inefficient, Jinwoo agreed. Yesterday I moved 3 times more cargo than my best day last year. My supervisor, who used to spend all day just signing papers, actually helped load ships. The workers are calling your methods the human way. We want to learn more. Jinwoo looked at his laptop screen again. More messages were arriving every few minutes. Some were bounty notices with his picture. Others were from workers across the galaxy asking for help with their own efficiency problems. A few were death threats in languages his computer could not translate. I just wanted to do a good job, Jinwoo said quietly. I wanted to help. You did help, Taehyun replied. You helped millions of workers. You also accidentally destroyed the most stable political system in galactic history. The cargo bay shook as ships docked and undocked above them. Taehyun checked his communication device and frowned. Security teams are searching every section of the station. We need to move soon. Jinwoo closed his laptop and put it in his bag. He thought about Soyoung and Chaeyoung back on Earth. Would he ever see them again? All he had wanted was to earn good money by helping aliens run their businesses better. Now he was hiding in a cargo bay while 3 galaxies tried to kill him. Where can we go? He asked. Taehyun grinned. To the people who want to learn the human way. Taehyun led Jinwoo through dark maintenance tunnels to a small cargo ship hidden in the station's lower docks. The ship was old and dirty, but the engines worked. This belongs to my friend Sunho, Taehyun explained. He smuggles food to poor worlds. He will help us. Sunho was a short alien with thick fur and kind eyes. He looked at Jinwoo and laughed. So you are the famous human who broke 3 galaxies with spreadsheets? I like you already. They escaped Harmony Point just as Zephyrian soldiers stormed Jinwoo's old room. The cargo ship was small and slow, but it could travel through asteroid fields where big warships could not follow. Sunho knew all the hidden routes that smugglers used. Where are we going? Jinwoo asked as they flew between floating rocks. Kepler Station, Sunho replied. The workers there want to meet you. During the 3-day journey, Jinwoo's laptop kept receiving messages. His efficiency methods were spreading across the galaxy faster than any government could stop them. Workers on mining planets were using his flowcharts to eliminate corrupt supervisors. Factory crews were streamlining production without asking permission from management. The best message came from a being named Chaeyoung who worked in a crystal refinery. Human consultant, your direct communication method helped us discover our managers were stealing 60% of our pay. We confronted them with evidence and got our money back. The workers want to make you an honorary citizen of our world. But there were also scary messages. Bounty hunters across 3 galaxies were sharing information about Jinwoo's location. The reward money kept growing. The Zephyrian Empire was now offering 200 million credits. Someone had posted detailed pictures of his face with instructions on how to capture humans alive. When they reached Kepler Station, hundreds of workers were waiting. Aliens of dozens of different species crowded around Jinwoo as he walked off the ship. They cheered and clapped in ways that sounded like thunder, music, and breaking glass all at once. "Human consultant," shouted a tall alien with blue skin. "Show us how to remove middle management." "Teach us the efficiency way," called another with tentacles instead of arms. Jinwoo felt overwhelmed but also happy. These workers reminded him of people back on Earth who just wanted to do good work without dealing with unnecessary bureaucracy. He spent the next week teaching basic business improvement to anyone who would listen. The results were immediate and dramatic. Kepler Station's productivity increased by 300%. Workers who had spent most of their time filling out forms were suddenly free to do actual work. The station's corrupt union bosses, who had been taking bribes to slow down production, found themselves completely bypassed by the new direct communication system. News of the revolution spread through underground worker networks. On Vega Prime, factory workers used Jinwoo's methods to expose safety violations their managers had been hiding. On the mining world of Altair 7, Jinwoo's inventory tracking system revealed that supervisors had been selling equipment and blaming workers for shortages. Planet after planet erupted in what the news networks called efficiency rebellions. Workers armed with nothing but better organization and direct communication were overthrowing corrupt systems that had existed for centuries. The three major powers were furious. Emperor Kyungo of the Zephyrian Empire called an emergency meeting with Crystalline Empress Jisoo and Andromedal President Do-hyun. For the first time in recorded history, the leaders of three enemy civilizations agreed on something. The human had to be stopped. "This Park Jinwoo is more dangerous than any weapon," Emperor Kyungo declared. His ideas spread like a virus, destroying established order wherever they go. "My intelligence services report that 47 worlds are now in active rebellion," Empress Jisoo added. "All using techniques taught by this human. The economic damage is incalculable," President Do-hyun said sadly. "Our entire system of controlled commerce is collapsing." They combined their military forces for the first time in galactic history. The largest manhunt ever organized began immediately. Thousands of ships, millions of soldiers, and the best bounty hunters in 3 galaxies all had the same mission: find one human consultant. But Jinwoo had become impossible to catch. Every time the military fleets arrived at a station or planet, the local workers would hide him and lie to the authorities. He moved from world to world in small smuggling ships, cargo containers, and even garbage haulers. On the ice planet Hoth Beta, he taught miners how to organize fair work schedules. On the desert world of Tatooine 7, he helped farmers create direct sales networks that bypassed corrupt distributors. Each world he visited became more productive and prosperous, but also more rebellious against their old governments. The chase became legendary across the galaxy. Children sang songs about the human who fought bureaucracy with spreadsheets. Workers shared stories of planets liberated by better organization. Even some government officials secretly admired his methods. Jinwoo himself was exhausted and homesick. He missed Soyoung and Chaeyoung terribly. He tried to contact Earth, but all communications were being monitored. He learned that bounty hunters had even visited his home, though Earth's government had refused to help with his capture. "Why do they hate efficiency so much?" he asked Sunho during one of their escapes. "Because efficiency threatens power," Sunho replied. "The old system made a few beings very rich and kept everyone else poor. Your methods make everyone more equal. The powerful do not like equality." As their ship approached another hidden asteroid base, Jinwoo looked at the stars and wondered if he would ever go home. Behind them, the combined fleets of 3 galaxies continued their search, getting closer every day. 6 months after the manhunt began, Jinwoo was finally trapped. The combined fleets of 3 galaxies had surrounded New Andromeda Station, the largest trade hub in known space. There was nowhere left to run. Jinwoo sat in a small maintenance room with Taehyun and Sunho, looking at his laptop screen. Outside, over 3,000 warships waited in formation. The most powerful military forces in galactic history had united for one purpose: to capture him. "Maybe I should just surrender," Jinwoo said quietly. "Too many people have died because of my mistakes." "Your mistakes?" Taehyun laughed, but he sounded tired. "Jinwoo, you freed more workers in 6 months than all the revolutions in the last 1,000 years combined." Sunho checked his communication device. "The 3 leaders are all here personally. Emperor Kyungo, Empress Jisoo, and President Do-hyun. They want to make sure you cannot escape again." Jinwoo stared at the names on his screen. For months he had been running from faceless enemies. But these were just people, important people, but still people with business problems. "Taehyun, can you get a message to the station's communication center?" "Probably." "Why?" I want to schedule a meeting. Taehyun and Sunho looked at each other. A meeting? Sunho asked. With the people who want to kill you? I am a consultant, Jin-woo said, opening his laptop. When stakeholders have conflicts, you bring them together and find solutions. I should have done this months ago. 20 minutes later, emergency broadcasts went out on all frequencies. The human consultant Park Jin-woo requests a business meeting with all interested parties. Conference Room 7, Level 12, New Andromeda Station. 2 hours. The three galactic leaders were shocked. Emperor Kyungo nearly fell off his command throne. The human wants to negotiate? After destroying everything? This could be a trap, Empress Jisoo warned her advisors. Humans might be more clever than we thought. President Do-hyun was curious despite himself. What if he actually has a solution? Our economies are collapsing. The worker rebellions are spreading. Maybe we should listen. 2 hours later, Jin-woo sat at a conference table wearing his best suit. Across from him sat the three most powerful beings in the galaxy, each surrounded by guards and advisors. The room was tense and quiet. Thank you all for coming, Jin-woo began just like he did in corporate meetings back on Earth. I understand there have been some problems with my efficiency improvements. Let us review the issues and find solutions. Emperor Kyungo's scales turned dark red with anger. Issues? You started 3 wars. Actually, Jin-woo said politely, clicking to his first slide, the war started because of poor communication and unfair business practices. My methods just revealed problems that already existed. He showed them charts and graphs on the big screen. Your old system was designed to prevent direct contact between your governments, but it also prevented you from solving real problems together. Empress Jisoo leaned forward. What do you mean? Look at this data, Jin-woo continued. The Zephyrian Empire has too much raw metal but needs processed electronics. The crystalline hegemony can make electronics but needs raw materials. The Andromedal Republic has the best shipping network but no products to ship. The three leaders looked at the charts. For the first time, they could see how their economies actually connected to each other. Under the old system, you traded through dozens of middlemen who took profits from everyone, Jin-woo explained. You were all losing money while a few corrupt officials got rich. President Do-hyun nodded slowly. The pricing complexity, it was not just inefficient. It was designed to hide theft. Exactly, Jin-woo said. Now, here is my proposal for a new trade agreement. For the next 4 hours, Jin-woo walked the three leaders through a business plan that would make all their civilizations more prosperous. Direct trade relationships, fair pricing, shared shipping networks, and worker protection standards. Everything he had accidentally destroyed but rebuilt better. The alien leaders asked hard questions. They argued about details. They demanded guarantees and protections. But slowly they began to see how cooperation could make everyone richer and safer. The worker rebellions will continue, Empress Jisoo pointed out, unless we address their concerns. Include them in the agreement, Jin-woo suggested. Happy workers are productive workers. Productive workers make everyone more money. Emperor Kyungo grumbled, but he could not argue with the numbers Jin-woo showed them. The planets that had implemented worker-friendly policies were already producing more goods than before the rebellions. As the sun set outside the station, the three leaders signed the most comprehensive trade agreement in galactic history. Worker rights were protected, trade routes were simplified, and communication would remain direct but with cultural translation services to prevent misunderstandings. What about you, human? President Do-hyun asked. You are still technically wanted for crimes in 47 star systems. Jin-woo smiled and pulled out his business cards. I would like to propose a new consulting contract. The Galactic Council needs someone to help implement these changes. I have experience with exactly this type of project. 6 weeks later, Ambassador Park Jin-woo sat in his new office on the Galactic Council station. His title was Special Advisor for Interspecies Business Relations, but everyone just called him the human who fixed everything. He had a picture of Soyoung and Chaeyoung on his desk, next to his coffee thermos. His family would join him next month when the new Earth embassy was completed. Chaeyoung was excited to meet alien children at the Galactic School. The best part was that he was still technically wanted for treason in those 47 star systems. The local governments refused to drop the charges, even though their worlds were now more prosperous than ever before. Jin-woo did not mind. Good consulting work always made someone upset.